Imagine a world without murder. Washington, D.C., 2054. Thanks to the revolutionary pre-crime program, homicide has been virtually eliminated. 3 gifted, almost ethereal beings known as precognitives, Agatha, Arthur, and Dashiell, float in a nutrient bath, dreaming of murders before they happen. Their visions, or previsions, are recorded, analyzed, and acted upon by an elite police unit. Killers are apprehended moments before they can strike, their future crimes visualized on transparent screens, their names etched onto wooden balls. The system is hailed as perfect, a utopian solution on the verge of national adoption. And at the forefront of pre-crime is Chief John Anderton, a brilliant but haunted officer. Driven by the unsolved disappearance and presumed death of his young son, Sean, years prior, a loss that shattered his marriage to Lara and led him down a path of addiction to the futuristic drug, Neuroin. Anderton finds a grim solace in preventing others from suffering similar tragedies. He is a true believer, the system's most fervent champion. But the winds of change are blowing. Danny Witwer, a sharp, ambitious agent from the Department of Justice, arrives to conduct a thorough audit of pre-crime, searching for any potential flaw before its national rollout. Witwer is skeptical, questioning the legalistic drawback of arresting individuals who haven't technically broken any law yet. Anderton dismisses these concerns with the system's flawless 6-year record. The Pre-Cogs, he insists, are never wrong. The sleek efficiency of pre-crime is demonstrated as Anderton and his team intercept Howard Marks, a jealous husband about to commit a double homicide. They move with practiced, almost balletic grace, manipulating holographic interfaces, analyzing fragmented visions, pinpointing the location and time with breathtaking speed. Marks is apprehended, confused, and protesting his innocence, even as the premonition of him committing the act echoes around him. Pre-cog déjà vu, as Anderton explains. It's another victory for pre-crime. But the audit and Witwer's probing questions create an undercurrent of tension. Witwer points out the fundamental paradox. If you stop a crime from happening, was it ever truly going to happen? Anderton counters with the certainty of predetermination. Witwer also questions why pre-crime only sees murders, not lesser crimes, and is intrigued by the almost deified status of the Pre-Cogs, whom Anderton and his team refer to as oracles in their temple. Anderton, while defending the system, reveals his own past. He once studied to be a priest, but his father was murdered, and later he lost his son. Pre-crime, for him, is deeply personal. Witwer, however, senses a flaw, stating, "If there's a flaw, it's human. It always is." Then, the unthinkable happens. As Anderton works at the pre-crime interface, a new prevision forms. The victim, a man named Leo Crow. The killer, clearly identified by the Pre-Cogs, John Anderton himself. He has less than 36 hours before he is predicted to murder a man he has never met, for reasons unknown. The system he championed has turned against him. His colleagues, stunned, initiate the protocol. Anderton, facing the grim reality of being haloed, a state of living suspended animation, makes a desperate choice. He runs. Now a fugitive in the city he helped make safe, Anderton uses his intimate knowledge of pre-crime tactics and the pervasive surveillance technology, retinal scanners triggering personalized ads that call out his name, to evade capture. His former second-in-command, Fletcher, leads the manhunt, torn between duty and past loyalty. Anderton knows he needs answers, and he knows the only person who might have them is the reclusive, eccentric Dr. Iris Heinemann, the original architect of the pre-crime program. He finds Heinemann in her bizarre, overgrown greenhouse, a haven of strange botanical experiments. She is frail, cynical, and deeply disillusioned with her creation. She reveals the system's critical secret, the existence of minority reports. Occasionally, she explains, the 3 Pre-Cogs disagree. While Arthur and Dashiell might see one future, Agatha, the most gifted and central of the 3, might see an alternate sequence of events. These minority reports, which suggest a choice, an alternate future, are systematically suppressed and destroyed. For pre-crime to function, Heinemann explains, there can't be any suggestion of fallibility. The existence of these reports would shatter the public's faith in the system's perfection. Anderton is horrified, realizing he may have imprisoned innocent people who had an alternate, non-violent future. Heinemann tells him if he has a minority report, it's not in any file. The original vision exists only within the mind of the precog who generated it. Agatha. To access Agatha, Anderton must become invisible to Precrime's omnipresent retinal scanners. He seeks out a black market surgeon, Dr. Solomon Eddy, a man Anderton himself put away years ago for grotesque crimes, performs a gruesome eye transplant, giving Anderton new irises but warning him of temporary blindness. The procedure is a descent into a visceral nightmare, but it's a necessary evil. Blind, disoriented, but with a new identity, Anderton infiltrates Precrime headquarters. He navigates the familiar corridors, now a stranger, reaching the temple. He confronts Wally, the Precog's gentle caretaker, and abducts Agatha, intending to download her memories to find his minority report and prove his innocence concerning Leo Crow. Agatha, violently removed from her sensory deprivation tank, is overwhelmed by the flood of raw data from the outside world. Chaotic, unpredictable futures, a stark contrast to the singular focus on murder she usually experiences. With Agatha in tow, Anderton is on the run again. She is not a passive tool. Her precognitive abilities manifest in fragmented warnings and cryptic utterances. She sees their immediate future, guiding Anderton through a crowded mall, helping him avoid pre-crime units that are closing in. She sees him being recognized by personalized ads, sees the path to safety. Her visions are overwhelming, often distressing, but they are his only hope. He needs to find Leo Crow to understand why he is fated to kill him. They trace Leo Crow to a rundown hotel. Time is running out. Anderton, desperate, prepares to confront the man he is supposed to murder. Agatha pleads with him, "You have a choice. Walk away." But Anderton feels the pull of destiny, the weight of the prevision. He enters Crow's room. It's filled with hundreds of photographs of children, including, to Anderton's horror, his son, Sean. The room is a shrine to lost children. Crow, a pathetic, nervous man, seems to expect him. Anderton, seeing the photos of Sean, believes Crow is his son's killer. The rage, the grief he has suppressed for 6 years, explodes. He is ready to fulfill the prevision. Agatha, watching from the doorway, screams, "You can choose!" Crow confesses. He didn't kill Sean. He was hired to pose as Sean's killer. Someone contacted him in his jail cell, promised his family would be cared for if he played this part, including being killed by Anderton. He doesn't know who orchestrated it. Driven by desperation for his family's future, Crow grabs Anderton's gun, forcing a struggle, and ultimately engineers his own death, precisely as the Precogs foresaw. "Goodbye, Crow," Anderton whispers, the prevision fulfilled, yet the mystery deeper than ever. He realizes he's been meticulously framed. Danny Witwer arrives at the scene with the pre-crime team. The room is an orgy of evidence pointing to Anderton's guilt, but Witwer is too smart. The setup is too perfect. He notices inconsistencies. Later, reviewing the previsions, particularly the earlier, suppressed murder of a woman named Anne Lively, whose case Anderton had been looking into before he was tagged, Witwer uncovers the system's ultimate flaw. He realizes that by staging a murder and allowing Precrime to stop it, and Halo, a hired killer, a real murderer could then commit the exact same crime shortly after. The technicians, seeing the prevision of this second, real murder, would dismiss it as a mere echo of the first, already prevented crime, and erase it. A perfect murder, hidden by the system itself. Witwer takes his theory to Lamar Burgess, the benevolent founder of Precrime and Anderton's father figure. As Witwer explains his findings, he unknowingly signs his own death warrant. Burgess, listening intently, realizes Witwer has uncovered his secret. When Witwer mentions that the Pre-Cogs are temporarily offline, due to Agatha's absence, rendering them blind, Burgess seizes the opportunity and kills him, his face a mask of cold resolve. Anderton, now framed for Crow's and Witwer's murders, seeks refuge with his ex-wife, Lara. Agatha, still with him, is tormented by visions, particularly one of Anne Lively being drowned. Anne Lively, it turns out, was Agatha's mother. She had cleaned herself up from drug addiction and wanted her daughter back. This would have meant the end of Precrime, as Agatha was its heart.
John Anderton.
Lara, initially skeptical of John's claims of a setup, uses a clever ruse during a conversation with Burgess. She mentions Anne Lively, and Burgess, in a fatal slip, says, "I never said she drowned." Only the killer, or someone who had seen Agatha's private, unsuppressed vision, could know that detail. Lara realizes Burgess is the true villain.
"I'd like a word with my husband."
At a grand banquet celebrating Precrime's imminent national adoption, Anderton, with Lara's help, orchestrates a public confrontation. He broadcasts Agatha's unfiltered vision of Anne Lively's murder across the hall's monitors. The vision clearly shows Lamar Burgess drowning Anne Lively. Cornered, Burgess confesses. He killed Anne Lively to protect Precrime, his life's work, his legacy. He then framed Anderton, who had started to dig into the Lively case after noticing Agatha's missing prevision data, to silence him. As Precrime officers move to arrest him, a new prevision ball drops. The victim, John Anderton. The killer, Lamar Burgess. Burgess is trapped by his own system. He grabs Anderton. "If you don't kill me," Anderton tells him, "Pre-Cogs were wrong and Precrime is over. If you do kill me, you go away." But it proves the system works. Burgess faces an impossible dilemma. He sees the flaw, the paradox he created. He makes his choice. "Forgive me, John," he says, and turns the gun on himself. In the aftermath, the Precrime program, its infallibility shattered, is abandoned. All prisoners haloed under the system are unconditionally pardoned and released, though many remain under police watch. Anderton, cleared, finds a path to reconciliation with Lara. They are expecting another child, a new beginning. Agatha and the twins, Arthur and Dashiell, are finally freed from their service. They are moved to an undisclosed, remote location, a peaceful cottage by the sea, where they can live out their lives in quiet, no longer burdened by the constant torrent of future violence, free to simply be. The world, it seems, must learn to live with murder again, but perhaps also with the complexities of choice, justice, and the undeniable human element that no system, however perfect, can ever truly erase. The future, once again, is unwritten.